come up.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah. YouTube. Hmm? Still long. Hmm? Is it? The first time? Yeah. But I don't see no. Let me see that. I don't get no notification. So you live? Okay. Yeah, so we had some audio issues, so now we're back live. Back on the live. Share the live, share the live. So we say, we good? Yeah, so tonight for the time I hear solo until one of the guys come in again.
So let's get it going. Share the life, share the life.
My phone is
So yeah, before the interruption, I was basically speaking about, Domlek, not Domlek, Duasco. Domlek is a whole other issue by itself. But yes, utilities, we live in a state just about 70,000 people, according to what the government claims. But we should know that Dominica doesn't have 70,000 people. And I mean, it's not much people to manage. We have a huge government, a huge government. You look at the number of ministers. I mean, if we would have to calculate the ratio ministers to civilians, we have a huge government in comparison to any other country. We only have, even if we take it at the slated 70,000 people, and we have to look at the amount of ministers and government officials and so on, cabinet officials. We definitely already have 21 constituencies. And if we have to look at the other Caribbean countries that have even greater, double our population, they don't even have as much ministers or ministries or even cabinet members. All these things are things we have to look at and things we should be taking into consideration. Do we get value for our money as taxpayers and so on? Because we hear people speak a lot about them things, value for money. That was one of the big things in the campaigns, in a few election cycles ago. So I feel all them things is things that should be affecting us and things that we should look at when we're making our decision in the voting process and the government, the election of our members of parliament, or what we call MP, the people that represent us, our representatives in the parliament and in the government. And the entire structure of government within itself and how it operates and all these different things, it's things we as a people, we should be educating ourselves on this, and the people that even have the education and the knowledge, they should be coming out there and educating others. And because unlike see the situation with, I mean, last week we touched on it about the president and the opposition and the leader of the opposition. And it's it's a sad situation because, for one, we hear nothing from the judiciary, is one. And the judiciary is supposed to be defending and upholding the constitution. Then we hear the Prime Minister, Roosevelt Skerry, comes out and he speaks about, oh, nothing wrong with that and things can continue as normal. But it shouldn't be, because, I mean, without a leader of the opposition, we have an impasse in the constitution, and an impasse basically is saying that we have a constitutional crisis, because the constitution is stating that there shall be a leader of the opposition and there is no leader of the opposition. And for how long should that be able to reign? And we hear nothing from the judiciary, the judges, the people that's supposed to be bringing that balance to the entire system in terms of having that political divide and dealing with it. And a lot of things have been enabled in Dominica and caused the deterioration of our society. And this is one of the major things, this silence from the judiciary on matters as that important, I mean. You don't have to wait for that thing to reach in the High Court. The judiciary should be proactive because it is a branch of government, you know. And it's the three branches of government. You have the parliament, the judiciary, and the cabinet. And the judiciary in itself, they need to take up their responsibility because they themselves have a responsibility to the state and to we as fellow Dominicans. And as far as I can see, the magistrates, the judges, they denegate, how they call it? They're not taking up their responsibility to the society. Because Kerry shouldn't be the one coming out and speak about there's nothing wrong with there is not having a leader of the opposition. And nobody is fact checking to say, well, you, the judiciary, not saying, well, what he's saying there is not right. And educate the people, educate us, the masses, you know. It's your responsibility. You know, I mean, you should have a forum where you should be able to deal with them situations. So yeah, it's a lot of different things that affecting us as Dominicans, and we have to address those issues. Dodging them and trying to play like as if just allowing it to linger, it's not going to help none of us. You know, it's just going to make life. It has been making life worse for all of us and tough for all of us because we have the issues with the construction industry and the Chinese and the whole management of that. MMCE as the state developer. So MMCE basically representing the state on all state work. So every construction contract that is every major construction contract, because MMCE are state developers and they represent us because we are from the state of Dominica and we have to look at what is happening around us in our environment. You know, fix our environment is those things we have to fix that fixing our environment, you know, address those issues, which because it affecting us, you know, and a lot of us we talk about it in our own little private circles, among our friends, amongst our families, among people we trust, you know, and those things they needs to be addressed. We have so much things you can point out, so many issues that we can point out in the society. The housing issue, all what there. I see my partner 19 talking about the people in the apartments, the city view, how they call it there by grammar school, and people that were relocated from that area and not given apartments and put into. So it's so many issues. Even the people that have been given the apartments, you have no contract with government, you have with the state, because government is supposed to be administering state affairs and instead for them to be administering the state affairs, they're passing it on to others like MMCE, who was made into a state developer. You know, and but you even have authority, so government regulatory bodies, things like housing board, we're supposed to be dealing with the renting issues and so on, would say nothing about the whole issue of government distributing housing without any contract when in the private sector that is illegal. So why is it that the state can do it and the private sector is not allowed to do it? You know, because under the law you're supposed to register your building or whatever house or apartment you have for rent or for lease or what it is. So it can be managed and monitored and everything, and everybody can be treated fairly, because discrimination is one of the things that the Constitution trying to stamp out. You know, everybody should be given an opportunity to express who they are, what their views, and there's different type of things. I mean, we're all not going to agree and we're all not going to support one another. But we definitely live together, we live in the same space, we live in the same environment. So we have to be able to understand each other. We have to be able to cohabit it you know. So because without understanding and empathy, we'll only have anarchy and war. And when one group don't want to understand the other group or come to sit down, even one individual, and that is why we are Republican, that everybody has a right, everybody, every single person, whether you're disabled, whether you're aged, whether you're young, we all have rights under the Constitution, and the Constitution is what that establishing our rights as individuals in the society. So it is the social contract that's supposed to be guiding our activities and our interactions, you know. And if we don't look at this, we don't learn those things. We're just going to be a wandering, sad society. And to me, that is what I see in here now. Like we're just a people without a purpose. And we ought to give ourselves some level, some purpose, because it starts off with the individual. Each one of us, every one of us, we're supposed to have a purpose as an individual, you know, and try to achieve, strive that purpose, come together and strive to achieve as a society, as a community, with our own identity, not allow one sector of who we are to just determine it for everybody. You know, we're supposed to be able to have conversations, discussions, debates on how we can see ourselves moving forward. You know, whether we should be there voting for members of parliament and not a prime minister or a president. If, for instance, the president have the highest seat in the house, but in the entire state, right? But the president is an elected, is a selected member, not an elected member. So parliament, basically parliament supposedly selecting our president. And the president is supposed to be the most important seat. That's why the president is even given immunity. Why is a seat? Why is the individual is sitting in that position? So it's a lot of factors, and I feel like we have to engage one another, talk to one another. Don't make it about you as labor, you as workers. No, let us talk to one another, engage one another, be civilized with one another, be able to sit and speak and be courteous with one another, understanding. That's right. As we live together and then we see it when the hurricanes come in, you just have to dive and help one another. That's right. To help your neighbor have to help you, and so is exchange. We live in a society, if we have to live in a place where we're like enemies with one another, then we cannot call that a society, we cannot call that a community. That's right. We just bent on taking advantage of each other. That is not a society. We have to have empathy towards each other. But yeah, we have a lot of issues in Dominica. Trust me, a lot. And I look at it as one political party took this stand of addressing electoral reform as the way forward. And to me, I think too much emphasis has been placed on electoral reform. To me, I don't see electoral reform as a cause that pulling all of us together. And with the amount of issues we have in this country, there are many things that can pull us together, unite us as a people. You know, there are a lot of things. The economy, for one, the economy has so many issues, from small to big to all type of different issues. And we can definitely come together because all of us facing the rising cost of living. And what is the solutions that have been proposed? Where are they? How are we dealing with that whole issue of the economy and the issue of the rising cost of living? Because the situation is terrible and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better anytime soon if something is not done. For one, this whole issue of construction and the economy and how the construction industry has been managed by our government is a major issue, and it affects every one of us because it is the largest sector so far of the economy. Well, Flacco come in there, so Flacco is about to join us. So let me make a little space. How are you looking like that, Chocolate?
Yeah. Greetings, man, everybody. Apologies for coming in so late, but we had load shedding in our area tonight, and I had to ensure that take care of everything, make sure that the family okay before I leave home. So yeah, but
Yeah, well, as Flacco reached there, we have a little issue there, but our camera is frozen, so we're going to take a pause to get it rectified, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes. So just bear with us, please. Thank you.